You ready, B? I'd like to call this meeting to order at Town of Pelletier Board of Commissioners, 6:30, Monday, October the 7th, 2024. Roll call.
Walter Vincent.
Yep.
Dan Taylor.
Here.
Dale Sowers.
Here.
Sonny Mason.
Here.
David Bragg.
Here.
Tim Key.
Here.
All right, let's all stand for the invocation and pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alice.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for each and every one present. We thank you for the day that you have given each of us. And we ask your Lord, lead, guide, and direct us in what we should be doing for this town. Bless each and every one present. All this I ask in your precious and loving name. Amen.
All right, next is the approval of the agenda. I'd like to, under new business, add one thing. This is the swearing in of the fire marshal. Each town needs to swear the marshal in, so that way when he goes and enforces something, then he is a representative of the town. Without this being done, he's just barking up a tree. He can't do anything. So anyhow, we'll put that at number 2 on new business. And so do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? What'd you say? Okay. Approval of the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 meetings. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read them. If there's no changes, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Department report, Code Enforcement Officer, Lieutenant Chris Jensen. Smiley.
Smiley. Really? I'm here to amuse you. Here you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm going to try and make this quick this evening. I was in Western North Carolina all weekend. I'm kind of tired, and I had to be there to do school traffic this morning. Crazy world, my job. Okay, so as far as the activity log goes, we've slowed down tremendously this month with police calls. And usually when I see that tick, it's everything else slows down as well. As far as your neighborhood's concerned, things slow down. People are starting to think about what's coming, the winter, of course. And they start tidying up their little areas, even if it's subconsciously. And they're usually good during these months, and they won't heat back up until the spring comes. This month, complaints, the complaints I received were all regarding the animal control. My phone rang a bunch of times from people I didn't know in town, asking about what to do with animal control. I think over the course of this month, I think we received 9 or 10 complaints to the county communications department about dogs at large and one cat call. And I mean like cats, not the other thing, cat call. What we do is, of course, we'll send the deputy. The deputy will get there, and he deals with the people, and he doesn't know how to deal with the dogs. He doesn't talk to the dogs. That's for an animal control person to do, not talk to but catch the dogs. And then, so kind of, we're missing a piece of the puzzle, if you will. The piece, of course, being an animal control officer. We'll send the cop every time. That's what we do. You call, we come. That's our motto. But we don't do dogs. We've tried in the past, and we just don't do dogs. It doesn't work out for us. You know.
You don't have jail for that, do you?
No, that's over off of Hibbs Road, and we don't control that little arena. So the only thing I can do, of course, when you call me after the dog call, is shoot it, and we don't want to have a bunch of that going on. So, in lieu of the shooting of the dogs, we probably need to think about more animal control issues. I guess I'm just keeping that to the forefront because I did receive a lot of calls about this month. This month. Dogs. What do we do about the running dogs? So, and of course, when it comes to just a simple, the dog got out of the yard, and I can go down and write the ticket on a state citation. He has to go see a judge. That's great, but nothing gets done again with the dog part of it. If we had an animal control officer, they may confiscate the dog, they may quarantine the animal if it bit somebody. These types of things we do not do, obviously, as explained. Okay, so I'm gonna get off the animal control thing now, go with the regular thing, if I may. Starting off 307, 5 Aprils, I've not gotten up with the, or they've not, better terminology, they've not gotten up with me. So I posted the fine letter to the door. If it's still there, great. If not, I'll just post another one tomorrow. And I did that 10 days ago. There's another one here, it was about 10 days ago. They won't get back to me, and it's probably, they're out of state, so it's a matter of probably it getting lost in translation, I don't know. I'm more apt to work with this fella here because he worked with me before than the next one on the list that didn't work with me or refuses to work with me. But I'll explain in a minute. 124 Pettiford Road, this is the kind of the problem child of Pettiford Road Street there with the people that live in it. But the lady that is the homeowner, is trying to clean up and trying to mitigate some of the ugliness on her property. So I'm kind of she seems nice, and I'm trying to work with her so she can get that done. We'll see how that goes. I'm just keeping an eye on it right now. I've dealt with her several times. This will be my problem child here, 1106/1105 Highway 58. This guy's a thorn in my side, and that's the nice way I'll put it. He'll take things to the bitter end. I've already given him the 30-day notice. And as usual and customary, about day 27 or 29, he will cut back when I've asked him to cut back. He's got growth on his building going up, which I just learned a little while ago is a fire code violation. To me, it's just a code violation because it's overgrowth of the shrubbery there. And he still has yet to cut down the ditch line like I asked him to. He's in a pissing contest with me about it being the state's and not his responsibility and blah, blah, blah. But we'll get that rectified and shaken out here directly, I think. Because I have case law that I brought to him. Okay, 133, Ms. Becker, Sandsburg, same thing, working with her. She's doing things, doing it slowly, like a snail, just like the other guy, Whetstone. But getting stuff done to the bare minimum. 127 Pettiford Road. This will be the property that's dealing with cat traps. I'm pretty much closing that one out right now just for the mere fact that I don't have cat traps anymore. Mine was confiscated back from the county evidently. And I did buy 2 new cat traps, but they're in my garage presently, so they're not used. But that's another animal control type issue, I would believe. But it's out of my purview. And the McNeil Golf Course property, I've looked and looked at ordinances on that stuff. I can't find anything that's gonna work. Language in law, we're starting to get beyond my scope as cop when we're getting into lawyer stuff with that. I'm gonna sort of McNeil having to trim down his stuff. But, I need guidance on that if I'm gonna do anything or make any moves. Let's see here. Okay, my final thought here would be, this is 119 Deaton Drive. We visited this subject, I believe it was last October. We set the wheels in motion, and then it came to fruition about early December, where we went in and we cleaned this guy's yard out and got it looking pretty for a few months. Spring came, summer came, it got all overgrown again, and he's since moved a dilapidated GMC Yukon into the front yard and about a 30-foot bumper pull camper there as well. That's all falling apart. I've been watching it over the past few months. It's just getting worse and worse. And I can't even find footprints. I don't even know this guy's visiting his property. I don't know what his deal is. But I fear we're gonna have to go back in there again. He won't deal with me. If anybody knows him, try to.
Who is it?
Catch me after I got his name written down in my car. He works at the not John's Golf Cart, but the other golf cart place there, golf carts there. He fixes golf carts. But he kind of runs and hides every time I get to approach him. So I posted several notices on his front door and even the camper door in case he's trying to stay in there, even though he's advised against that because I hit him with a nerd charge if he did that. All right, yeah, that's that. Okay, so something I didn't do last month, I realized that after we left, was the police call volume log thing. We had 59 calls for service in the town of Pelletier and 21 calls for service in the ETJ, grand total 80 calls for service. I thought the 21 calls in the ETJ was a little low, so I counted the numbers 3 times, but sure enough, it was 21 calls. Usually that number's higher than your calls. But same stuff. Like I said, you can knock 10 off right for the animal calls right there. And no serious calls for services I can recall for your town. A couple drug calls, a few domestics, and that was about it. Yes, are there any questions? Gentlemen, if you have any further, I'll be here for the duration of your meeting. Hit me up. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Chris. All right, next is West Carter Fire and EMS. Chief?
All right. For the month of September, we had 158 calls for service. Actually, a slow month this year. It was a 15% decrease from last year. But we're still 6% above what we were last year overall. We're right now on track to turn between 2,000 and 2,100 calls. Public tier accounted for 29 of the calls last month. For the third quarter of this year, we had 525 calls, which was down 9.6% from last year's third quarter, but still 4.4% above overall calls for the year compared to 23. So nothing major's happened. Luckily, we didn't had 2 minor NVCs on 58 in Pelletier. Nothing bad. No fires, mainly EMS calls. Nothing major, thankfully. I like it that way.
All right.
Any questions?
Anybody got any questions for the chief?
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right, next is the financial report. Walter? Oh, no, fire marshal, I'm sorry.
I don't have to.
Oh, no. Yeah, you do have to.
Yeah, I do. As far as the fire marshal report inspections, I had 9 inspections in the month of.
I got one.
That's right, in the month of September. Really, what you got on your report is pretty much what we've done. Nothing really exciting on there. we've gone to 187 Bucks Corner. That's where I left a few minutes ago. Originally called it as a structure fire, and turned out somebody was burning again, so, that's gonna go up. It's the time of the year when people start burning, and if it's illegal, then they'll call me first, and I'll come out, the guys on the engine company, unless they can take care of it, but, they'll notify me, and then I'll go out and talk to them. If it becomes too much of a problem, I'll call Chris or Joe and have them come out and take care of it that way, so. As far as the fire marshal's report, that's the only thing I have, unless you have any questions about it.
No, sir.
All right, the other issue that I just gave you is Mustang Lane. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Mustang Lane. It is right off of Pelletier Loop, since you turn off 58. According to county GIS, it is not an official road name. It is an official road, but it's not an official road name. So all those people back there, I think there's 4 or 5 homes that are back there actually have a Pelletier Loop address. Which doesn't sound like a big deal until somebody dials 911, which they have 3 times now, one within the last couple of weeks. And,
She's passed away now, so you won't have to go back to that one.
yeah, it made it tough for our people to find where they needed to go. So I talked with Mayor Sowers, I did some research, I talked with Maureen at the county, she's the one that deals with 911 GIS. And basically the instructions that they gave us was the residents themselves, the only ones who can change it. So they have to do a petition to the town of Pelletier, saying they want their road officially named as Mustang Lane. And then the town has to go to the county and say, hey, you know, the residents of Pelletier want this road named Mustang Lane. If you look on the pictures there, you can see that mailboxes are not even close to the addresses. There's actually 2 sets of mailboxes that are separated. We have 10 new people. We have 10 new people that do not know the area. They're not from here. They don't know. So it makes it challenging for those. We did have the smarts to go to Google. One of the apps we use has an alternative route. One is the actual app, and the other one is Google. When they went to Google, Mustang Lane popped up and they knew where to go. That's okay if somebody's complaining of a stomach pain or something like that, but if somebody's having a heart attack, we're losing valuable minutes, not seconds anymore. That's gonna become a problem, so.
The request, excuse me, the request has to come from the residents.
But they have to do a petition to the town, saying that they would like to have their name formally changed, their address formally changed to Mustang Lane.
But that name came about because Floyd Dixon was, and that, he just put that sign up himself, was it?
Well, he did good, because it looks like a county road sign.
Yeah.
It really does. That's what threw me off. I'm like, when I talked to Marina, I was like, I don't understand. They got a county road sign up.
Now, if,
It's not.
you know, the reflected signs that we, that y'all sell.
Right.
Now, can't they be put at the end of Mustang Lane, you know, on a post, listing all of them, and then have another one just like that, and take it and put it back on the properties?
They can. Our recommendation would be at the road, at Pelletier Loop Road, would have all the addresses on that sign with the arrow pointing that way. At the end of each driveway, they would have the reflective sign showing their address. It just needs to be numbers.
Yeah.
The Mustang Lane is up there on Pelletier Loop Road, but the numbers are what we need. So if they, you know, if they say, you know, 201 Mustang Lane, we're gonna know where it is. They may say Pelletier Loop, they may say Mustang Lane.
Yeah.
The only cost they would have, that I'm aware of, if they changed their address, was one, they would have to do a post office change of address, and then the normal things, you know, you have to make change address on bank accounts, checks, stuff like that. It's not a big cost, but it is a cost, and, you know, they need to be aware of that.
Well,
Those are the 2 options that you would have.
this right here, I think y'all charge $20 to sign. And I was wondering if the town would pick it up we're talking, yeah, it's like $100, and then plus a post and stuff like that. We could probably talk a firefighter into putting it up.
Wouldn't be wrong.
I know what I'm doing.
Since you started this mess.
No, I didn't, believe it or
No,
not.
I know you didn't, I
Some
know.
resident had the nerve to call 911 and then a community member come and complain to him. And then
Yeah,
I took over.
yeah.
That's
But-
okay, that's what we're for.
But, I mean, if, you know, it's just a small deal to help out, you know, some residents, and help our fire and EMS department. So if y'all would like to make a motion to spend $100 on signs.
That's a sign with the number.
Second.
Hold on.
If you need a sign at the end of the road and then a sign at the end of their driveways, it'll be 200.
Look at that math skills.
That's why you handle the finances. At the fire department, at that, yeah. So we're talking 200, let's say no more than $300 on signs and posts. Would you like to make,
I'll make the motion.
Second.
all right, have a motion and a second to spend up to $300 on signs and posts for Mustang Lane. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Well, we got the money for it.
So we'll get it done.
All right.
We'll have it done by the next meeting.
I thought you'd have it done tomorrow.
No, sir. Chief wears me out, I gotta stay on.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, now, financial report.
Can I give you that?
Yeah.
Let's see, I got 248,571, does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
And, let's see what power is. It's 29,291.90.
That sounds right, too.
And they're gonna be spending some more of that power money, right, for Pelletier Road, whatever it is.
Camp Pelletier Road, yes. And also for, Pirates Cove. 20, isn't that your name? Bill? Isn't that your road's name?
Howard?
No.
Starkey's Cove?
Starches Cove, excuse me.
Pirates Cove, same thing, Pirates.
Well, you know, he looks like a pirate.
Well, it's my family, yeah. We're
Yeah,
all-
but anyhow, that bill B has already gotten, our part was $2,600. And, that's a lot less than the 20,000 that we thought we were gonna have to spend. So we made out pretty good. Is it working, Bill?
Gentlemen, I appreciate you helping us on that. We had 12 inches of rain of those storms, and we still had a road. And we thank you for helping us on that. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, any questions on the finances? All right, then we'll move on, planning report.
We're still under review as far as our storage, and Carlton is gonna work on that, and we'll continue with that discussion next month.
Okay, and while we're discussing planning report, I'd like for the commissioners to find someone. We are missing one member on the planning board, and we need to get that member there. So anyhow, let's put that on next month's agenda, a replacement on the planning board, or to fill a planning board seat. All right, we'll move on to commissioners' report. Commissioner Quinn?
Why come you never start down heavy?
Always start left to the right.
I don't have any.
Mr. Bragg?
Corner of Pelletier Loop Road and 58 still is receiving a lot of erosion. I just don't get no response from the DOT. I think we need a group letter sent from the whole town or something to get more response on it, but that culvert is just about underground as it is. But the water is ripping down 58, and instead of, going over the road and into the ditches, it gets up onto the corner where it intersects with 58. Kind of out of our jurisdiction, but we're keeping our eye on it. I'm gonna keep throwing rock at it if we can keep going, get the DOT to help us out. That's
Okay.
it for me.
All right. Commissioner Mason?
Only thing I'm putting out there is we need to work on this animal control thing as quick as we can. Chris shouldn't have to be answering dog calls all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to get him some help, whatever we got to do. So.
Okay. Commissioner Taylor?
I'll take a bye.
Bye. Okay. I'm signing, it's on the agenda, so we're gonna be talking about that, right? The dog, animal control.
Yes. Yes. Yep. All right. Then mayor's report. I don't have anything neither, so that way we can move right on to the new business. It's got 2 public hearings. The first one is zoning ordinance amendment, residential sheds. Do I hear a motion to go into public hearing?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we're in public hearing. Carlton, can you help us out on that, please, sir?
Yeah, we go through we're doing the residential sheds right now.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go through the public notice requirements really quickly for both hearings. So there's 2 hearing subjects. We have the zoning ordinance amendment for the residential sheds. Then we have the zoning ordinance amendment for mobile home parks and travel trailer parks. There was a newspaper notice at the B, and B provided the evidence that it was published for 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks, within the statutory time frame. The ordinance edits for both amendments were made available for public review. There was a notice that was mailed to Cherry Point, since this update involves a change to the intensity of use or type of use within the town's zoning jurisdiction. I got an email back on that. No, there's no issue, no comment. I feel that we've met the public notice requirements for both of these hearings. For the, oh yes, one more thing I'd like to mention for both hearings. The planning board signed consistency statements or written recommendations and consistency statements for both of these proposed amendments. And I don't know if you have the actual signed statements. It's okay if we.
From the planning board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave Dale copies.
I'll go over the, I'll read through those statements before y'all make final decisions. So, if you choose to accept the planning board's statements or agree with them and choose to adopt these amendments, then we can include these statements into the meeting minutes.
Do you have a copy?
Yes, I have a copy.
Okay.
Not a signed copy, but I have the text, which is good enough, because I've seen signed copies.
Okay.
So, all right, with that done, let me talk about the shed ordinance update briefly. This one's a little more complicated than the second update, the mobile home camp park district. There was a few things that I did in this update. I made some tweaks to applications for residential zoning permits, and then I made a few changes to the supplemental regulations for accessory structures. And then I also updated some of the zoning district descriptions, just updated some language. But basically, starting with the application for residential zoning permits, section 206, I specified that residential zoning permits, these apply to single-family dwellings or duplex dwellings in a single-family residential district. And I list them out, the R35, R20, everything with an R in the front, and as well as the rural agricultural district. So basically, anytime there's a single-family dwelling, a duplex, the single-family dwelling can be stick-built, can be modular, or I guess it's a single mobile home. These residential requirements for a zoning application would apply. I removed the term plot plan. It's not defined within the ordinance. I changed it to site plan. Site plan showing the actual dimensions of a residential lot should be provided. I expand the, instead of saying proposed buildings, I have proposed buildings and structures. Just to include everything that could fall under the, under the zoning ordinance. Typically, a building is something, 4 walls, a roof, something that can be inhabited, and structures, everything else, basically. So I added that the size of a proposed building or structure should also be included on the zoning, residential zoning permit, which is reasonable since we need to have an idea of lot coverage. That's a requirement for some zoning districts. And then I noticed that there were multiple items, the old 3 through 6, that pertain to non-residential uses. They mentioned commercial structures, location, number of parking spaces for commercial structures. So I removed those because they're not relevant to residential zoning permit. They're still in the section for applications for commercial zoning permits, but they didn't need to be in the section of residential permits. So that's the first change I did for applications for residential zoning permits. Now we're going to narrow it down a little bit, looking at accessory structures. So there's the supplemental regulations, 1605 section on accessory structures. I updated that title to accessory building or structure. And I added a requirement for accessory buildings and structures in general. A permit is required. A zoning permit is required. This was already expected in the ordinance, but I wanted to make it explicit, or the way the ordinance has been, I guess, administered, that we've always expected a zoning permit, but I wanted to make it clear that a zoning permit is expected. It's required for an accessory building or structure. Then I went through and I took the existing language for the accessory structure section, and I basically just took it from a paragraph and I broke it down into a list. I added 1605.1.2.1 an exception for if you look at the 1605.1.2, the locations for accessory buildings or structures. They're not permitted in the front yard or within 5 feet of any property line. But I made an exception for non-residential districts. Again, this is for accessory buildings and structures in general, because there's many cases where you can need an accessory building or structure in the front yard be considered the front yard of a commercial use. Let's see. I created a new subsection, accessory buildings or structures in single-family residential districts. And with here, I put a maximum area requirement. This was requested to me by the planning board. The total cumulative area of all accessory buildings or structures, including sheds, shall not exceed 25% of the total area of the lot. Also for fences and walls, I refer back to the existing section 1619. This is just reinforcing the need for a zoning permit for fences and walls. And then for subsection 1605.3 that I created, this narrows it down even farther, specifically for residential sheds, which is the purpose of this, the original purpose of this amendment. So the subsection I state pertains to sheds in single-family residential districts, rural agricultural districts, associated with single-family dwellings or duplex dwellings. And then I provide basically a nested definition for a shed. Just for this subsection, a shed is defined as a small accessory building or roofed accessory structure. It is typically used as storage, a workshop, or similar incidental residential use, and is typically constructed with lightweight materials such as wood, metal, or plastic. I note that a permit application, permit application requirement, it's already required because it's an accessory structure or building, so it's going to need an application. But one requirement for the permit application is that the construction materials used shall be included on the permit application. I also included a maximum height requirement that shed shall not exceed 12 feet in height, which was recommended to me by the planning board. So those are the main changes, and then I went through each district description, and I changed customary accessory use to accessory building or structure, kind of expanding, broadening the definition, or broadening the term. Customary, it was recommended that that word not be included, since there's a lot of you could argue over what's customary. So yeah, that's the gist of the shed ordinance update. Do I have any questions?
Yes. Where you have permits required?
Permits required?
Yes, you got it in a couple places I know of, like 1605.3.3 permit application requirements. You need to make sure that we're talking zoning permits, not building permits. That because the county does all of our building permits, and only, they don't do all sheds. So, I don't know if that would make a difference, but that's just one thing I've seen.
So would you recommend that I update that to the zoning permit application requirement to specify?
Yeah, but it also, when we do that zoning permit, if you do a zoning permit for a shed, then you need to make sure this is you state this is not a building permit, that they need to check with the local, inspections office.
Yes, and if someone came in asking for a zoning permit for a shed, we should just provide them just a regular zoning permit application.
Yeah.
So I think we can avoid, the confusion, in that sense, especially since this, permit application requirement's under the zoning ordinance, and it's not under, regulations that require a building permit, or specify requirements for a building permit.
Yeah, it's fine, it's just something I just wanted to, had a
I think what
question.
you're talking about is more of a process, but when they come here for the zoning permit, we need to make sure that they know if it applies, if a building permit is required, that we need to just let them know, hey, this is zoning and not building.
Yeah, they need to check with the
I
county.
usually tell them that
the
we
county-
just supply zoning and then they have to go to the county for the building.
That's right.
All right,
Does the county, is that the one that says it has to be anchored or not? Is the building inspector there? Who does anything about it being tied down?
well, if this states that it's gotta be tied down,
Does it?
No.
That's why I say, does the building inspector, is that the one that decides whether it has to be tied down or not?
That is a county ordinance that the sheds have to be tied down.
It is?
It is, yes. How many people go by it, I can't answer that question, but it is
So
an
they need to
ordinance.
be, if somebody comes in for a zoning permit to have a shed, they need to be made aware that they need to talk to the building.
yeah, but would the county ordinance apply within our town as we're already running in the problem with animal control?
They'd have to follow the building code,
Building code.
but not the county zoning ordinances.
Yeah,
Well, the
see,
state-
it's not in building code,
But that,
or is it? I mean,
Well,
you did.
When I was doing all the sheds in the RV parks, they would not pass the deck, the patio cover, none of that until that shed was tied down.
The building inspector.
The building inspector would have to, now, like I say, a lot of people would put the sheds there and underpin them and nothing was ever done, but supposedly you can't get insurance on them if they're not tied down. So,
But shouldn't the people that comes in and asking for that zoning permit just be made aware of this, that they need to talk to the building inspector?
yes.
Yes,
but now,
Okay.
Sonny, on that issue, for the county, the shed, it has to exceed a 12-foot,
one wall.
one wall dimension.
Right.
To be considered to be a permitted.
Anything
shed.
in the campgrounds was over 100 square feet. If it was 10 by 10, it had to be tied down.
Okay, I'm in agreement
Yeah,
with you,
yeah.
that's what I want to see, because.
Well, and anything over 12 feet long had to have 6 anchors on it, not 4.
Okay.
Had to have 3 down each side, per the building inspector at that time, you know.
I would like to see, I mean, seriously, we on this for a year, we basically talked about it, and the whole board decided that we wanted to see them tied down. And I would like to see it in here somewhere, that they need to be tied down regardless of what size they are.
I'll let you know because I've got one in my backyard that's got to be tied down and I'm going to the building inspector as soon as I talk to Carlton about my zoning permit. So I don't want to get my hand slapped being a commissioner.
We could go ahead, if we didn't have more comment, we could go ahead and adopt this and then still add that to it later, couldn't we?
Yeah. Does anybody in the public like to say something on this subject?
I think if you want the individual to know that it needs to be tied down, why not put this inscripted on the bottom of your permit?
But a zoning permit.
Right.
I agree.
And
For the town of
that'll-
Pelletier.
That
Yeah.
eliminates any discretion.
That's right.
Yeah, but that will not have any, there won't be no
But it can't be
teeth to it.
inspected. Yeah.
No teeth to it if you don't have it in the ordinance.
Well,
If
that's
you know
true,
what I
but-
mean, they could put it down there, but then we can't enforce it if you can't find it in the ordinance.
Well, that's true, but you need to pass the ordinance, but you also need to state it on the permit so that they understand that's what got to happen. That's my suggestion.
It is a step to put the tie down,
We had an issue with tie down, adding the tie down previously, which we had previously discussed.
Okay. Does anybody else in the public have a comment on this? All right, do I hear a motion to go out, public comment?
So,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now, more discussion with the board. Anybody else got anything to say? If not,
I mean, we just, all I'm gonna say is, we delayed this for a year. And we did so off of the board's unanimous consent to put in here about the sheds being tied down. And if y'all wanna rush on and go on past it tonight, that's fine with me. And the only other thing I would say is, the maximum height of the shed. A shed, would you consider a detached garage a shed, Carlton?
Wouldn't be what it is.
Let's see.
a detached
Typically used
garage?
for storage or workshop, similar incidental residential use. If it's a roof, if it's a building, yeah, I guess it would depend.
Well, the reason I ask is because I think that a 12-foot is very limiting on someone who wants a detached garage.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that would be,
I wouldn't either.
would be considered a shed.
Well, it's accessory structure or building.
Yeah,
That's
but,
what it says. It's
but,
not a dwelling.
yeah, I know, but a garage, detached garages are added to building permits when you're either building a new house. You could have a detached garage to the side instead of having it attached. Most of the time, that's, some folks think that's more of a fire safety thing. If your garage is not attached to the house.
I think your limiting factor between what you can call a shed or your detached garage is gonna be the verbiage of a permanent foundation.
Yes.
Because your two-car or your detached garages generally gonna have a poured slab concrete, and it's gonna be built just like a slab concrete house. So it's gonna be, I think that's where your verbiage is gonna be the different, because if it was me, I'd challenge you on it. I think your difference is gonna be a permanent foundation. That would account for your detached garage, or your sheds are generally the ones brought in on skids.
On skids, yeah. They had to be tied down.
That's gotta be
Okay.
covered.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you can still have a shed 10 by 10 and it'd be on a concrete foundation.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is, the argument I think you're making is what's considered a shed and what's not. I think what you're gonna find is, you're gonna get pushback if you say shed and you call it a shed, and even if it's a permanent foundation or not. So, if you build it as a building, if I hire a contractor to come in and build me a two-car garage, and let's say it's 24 by 24, by definition of the way that's written, it's a shed, but it has a permanent foundation. So that's what I'm saying is, the verbiage to differentiate between a building and a shed is gonna be your permanent foundation.
Yeah.
That way, there's no confusion when somebody applies for a zoning permit.
Well, I still say that 12 feet is too small for a shed or a garage. How about that? Right.
Well, definitely too small for a garage, but shed, not really. You got 8-foot walls. You have, you can get a 312 pitch roof on that, and that'll still keep you below 12 feet. All right. Any board want to make any motions or anything?
Will y'all allow me to check with the building inspector this week or next week when I get my zoning from Carlton? Because I have some stuff I'm working on in my backyard. And I will talk with him about the tie downs on these sheds and find out what the county or the state building code has for these sheds based on size, height, whatever. And I'll have that, we got a meeting in 3 weeks, don't we?
Yeah, 28.
20.
I'll try to have that information by then, if we can table that till then, however you want to word that.
That's up to y'all.
Sounds good.
Do I hear a motion to table this until the 28th?
Second.
I have a yep and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
That way our bases will be covered.
All right, next, we got, a public hearing, mobile home parks and travel trailers park update. Anyhow, do I hear a motion to go in public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're in public hearing. Mobile home parks.
Okay, this was an update to the, this is an update to the, section 3013, the, MC Plan Mobile Home and Camp Park District. Under the permitted uses list, I added travel trailer, in parentheses, camper park, in parentheses, including RV park. And manufactured home parks already allowed. Under the dimensional requirements, section 3013.1, I specified minimum lot area is 3 acres for manufactured home parks and travel trailer camper parks. And then under let's see, section 3013.2, I add manufactured home park, travel trailer, camper park requirements. That's on the last page of ordinance edits. So yeah, I have the space and lot size dimensions that were discussed by the planning board and approved by the planning board. And I also have the accessory building setbacks and the principal, I guess, building setbacks as well. So, let's see, access requirement, no space or lot in the park shall have direct vehicular access to an exterior road or street. Every space or lot should be served by an internal road. Also, for road improvements, I note that roads should be constructed to meet or exceed the requirements of the North Carolina Department of Transportation subdivision roads and construction standards as amended. There are a few cleaned up some language. That's about all I have for this update. Any questions?
Well, I know this is something that the fire department deals with a lot here too, is how close or the sizes of these lots puts these RV camper trailers and stuff so close together.
We don't go by square footage, we go by feet between. For example, if I remember in the fire code, it says for RV park, minimum is 20 foot, building to building. Mobile homes are 25 foot. I think is what we discussed at either a planning board meeting or a commissioner meeting in the past. So when we look at, my job is looking at the fire plan, looking at the plans when they come, if they don't meet those requirements, then that's what's going to be brought up.
Right.
I don't know what the setbacks say in the ordinance, because I did not review them. But that's really, we're very limited when it comes to residential. We tell you how wide the street's gotta be, where the hydrants have to be, and the distance between them. And once that's met, we're done for good. We don't have any more things going on. Then the building inspector takes over.
Okay.
I'm in a campground, I put a camper in here, and it's supposed to be 20 feet between it.
20 feet.
But if they put a 10-foot screen rule in front of that, is that?
The key word is occupied structure.
That's generally where we run into issue,
Yeah.
as far as extension from one fire structure to the next, is the added rooms after the fact. Because they figured lots on roughly a 12-foot wide camper. And then they plot the lots to get that 20-foot difference between the two. And then after that, they can build on, and it's the occupied structure, and that's not part of the occupied structure.
I mean, for example, the last time we had an RV that caught fire, we lost 3 of them. And that's pretty much going to be a standard in a wind-driven community like we have, so.
Well, they got the lot width set, is that 50 feet? Is that what I'm reading here?
Between, if we're looking at between structures, for side property lines, there's a 7-foot requirement. So I guess it would have to be that would be 14 feet between, or potentially 14 feet between RVs or little homes.
So that wouldn't work.
We'd want to do.
You have to have a minimum of 10.
10 for RVs. I mean,
20 for
20 for RV park, 25 for manufactured homes, mobile homes.
Okay.
I believe is what it says in the code. I don't have the code with me, so I can't tell you 100%. I know we looked it up before when we come before the planning board of commissioners, and that's what I had to respond.
Which code is this?
North Carolina Fire Code,
Okay.
the 2018 edition, for another few months.
And that's the main fire codes, is the separation of them, right?
We don't go by square footage of the property.
Yeah.
Is that covered in this?
No, the minimal lot size under here would only be 7 feet, so 14 could be, you know.
We need to change that then, no?
Yeah, I would say I can look at that.
Okay.
Let's table this until.
Hope, we're in public hearing.
Okay.
Does anybody in the public have a comment?
Well, with a 50-foot lot, I don't understand, the 7 foot is what, any other structure that's there other than the living structure? I mean, I'm confused. Where are you getting the 14 foot? I mean, if you got a 50-foot lot.
You got side property line setbacks at 7 feet right here.
Right.
That means that's 7 foot from the one.
Right beside it.
One side and 7 foot on the others. It's only separating.
So all we need to do is change that measurement instead of the lot measurement.
Yeah, it didn't the lot measurement,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
setback measurement. All right, any other comments from the public?
I believe it's in chapter 3 of the fire code, but I don't have it with me. I'm just looking at old notes.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to go out public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, well, public hearing. So Carlton, you need time to check this out?
Yes, yes, and I apologize for not, for being aware of the fire code requirement. I'll look at this and I will make sure it meets the fire code.
Okay.
One thing I would like to mention about the tie downs is that when we previously discussed this, we talked about how there's tie down requirements there within the building code, and I don't know that the town could, I guess, make requirements that would be more restrictive than the state building codes.
I think with the state,
The way we got,
with the state, you can't go below their requirements, but you can go above their
Yeah,
requirements.
absolutely.
And they could be more restrictive.
and also, I was gonna say, also, I agree with the mayor on that. I believe we can be more restrictive if we want to. But the second thing is, the tie downs, you're right, Carlton, about the building code. But the thing is properly, they need to be tied down for preservation of life and safety. And that falls under the flood thing.
Okay, now let's get back on this other one before we go. We're jumping back and forth here. All right, so now we're on the mobile homes and travel trailers. So, do we want to table that till the 28th as well?
Yeah, my motion to table.
I have a motion to table this. And I have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that'll be tabled till next month as well.
We don't have another public hearing, do we?
No. Second on new business. B, did you find what you need to swear Fire Marshal Penrod in?
Yes, yes.
We're gonna swear at you and in you.
I've been doing this 50 years, I ain't heard it all before.
All right. All right, here we go.
I, Robert Penrod,
I, Robert Penrod,
do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as Fire Marshal.
my duties of the office of the Fire Marshal.
So help me God.
So help me God.
There you go.
Can I have a raise, boss? Never hurts to ask.
I got a ladder you can climb up on. All right then. Well, I think you're still waiting for the other towns to do that too, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So, anyhow. All right, next is public comment. Anybody in public?
I did make one mistake on the RV parks. I just found updated code. It's 15-foot setback per side.
Per side.
Yeah.
That's 30 feet between.
It says setbacks, RV parks should have a 15-foot front yardage, 15-foot side yardage, and 10-foot rear. That's just RVs.
So that would be 30 feet.
25.
So we need to change the front
15
too,
and,
right?
15 and 10. Front was 15, back was 10, so it's 25 feet apart. Okay. Darlene.
Yeah, Dale, down across from the farm, the core town. Who do I need to talk to, cause I don't know how much, I was just looking at the map, how much Pelletier you got the Commerce, Robin Commerce Farm right there across from it, about the people that's living inside the woods there. Cause I rode down there a couple months ago looking for a lost horse, and on the road, the first road to the right, that goes, you can go down to Robin Commerce place, and I said, let me go right down here looking for this horse. And I went down to the river, there's clothes everywhere. They took towels or something, wrapped over branches, and made like little tents right there at the water. And I'm thinking, okay, now let's go right across the Harold Commons right here, get into the barn, then come over to my farm, and it's like scavengers. And I'm thinking, okay, now what do I need to do? But while I was going down there was 2 trucks, and they saw me going down there. That was stopped and pulled off the side of the road. And I stopped and went back and said, what are you doing down this road? There was kind of a private road down there, what I'm talking about. It goes down to the water and the graveyard. And the first one said, oh, well, I'm just riding down here. I got traps at the bridge here to trap fish, some kind of fish. That's in, But anyway, and so the other guy, I went back down and asked him, said, oh, I don't know, I'm just from the military, I'm just riding down here to try out my new truck. And it just goes a few, half a mile, and then when I come back, going down into the woods, all them clothes, food just thrown everywhere, all the way down to the water right there. And I think I took some pictures, I'm not sure, but when I was coming out, them same trucks almost following me, and I said, y'all ain't going to leave. And so when I was coming out on the main road there, right before I get to my barn, from my barn right there, one guy, the same guy, was pulled off on the side of the road, he's got the ditch right there. I said, what are you doing? And I said, refrigerators and all that stuff down in there. But it looked like he was planting. He said, well, I'm just getting my stuff up. No. Because when he saw me come, he jumped back in his truck. And he was like, he's putting stuff into the ditch.
Is that in the Croton?
Yes.
The
I mean,
ranger,
there's got scavengers.
I think the ranger has already been made aware of that, where there's clothes and all that stuff was down there. I don't know whether they've done that about it. We got our two local rangers that look at all that stuff.
Because I heard that it's even more down there. It's like some kind of colony of people, but anyway, homeless people, I think.
I think the rangers have been notified, and your season's starting here very soon, so that'll probably take care of a lot of that anyway.
Yeah.
And so I know where to go to the,
But the ranger, they have talked to the rangers. I know a couple of people that have talked to them about that, because they saw the same stuff.
well, I'm trying to, the Croton people go down and check on these side roads like that. Hadn't seen all this, because it's everywhere.
All right.
Especially women's clothes.
Let's move on. We'll go to old business, animal control update.
Now, on that right there, are they calling you
What?
for animal control?
Yes.
Hey, we got this.
Okay, I might handle that.
So, I mean, have we contacted anybody yet on that, Walter, or anybody here?
I haven't talked to anybody. I just wondered what, I thought that we were we supposed to, I think you told us, you said, since, the county lawyer, and you were,
Jonathan was here last time, maybe he talked to you.
yeah, they were supposed to talk with her and see what was going on and come back with
I
it.
think what we need to do here, Mayor, unless you have somebody else who would like to do it, we need to sit down with their manager and tell them about the problems that you're having, right? Because if we adopt an ordinance and we don't have any way to enforce the ordinance.
We've adopted the ordinance, the same one that the county has.
Right, what I'm saying is, but if we don't have any enforcement mechanisms, it's not helping us at all, right? So
Right.
I don't know if this is gonna be a political issue as far as, are they gonna charge us? How do they wanna handle that? Are they gonna do it for us since we've adopted?
But that was my understanding at the last meeting, that he was, your firm was gonna talk to her and find out what it was, and if it needed to be a contract or whatever needs to be done to get us
I'll get with the mayor on that. So Mayor, what I would like to do, I'm happy to make the introduction, but ultimately this is gonna be a business decision between the town and the county. Not so much a legal one. I mean, we can draw up whatever the agreement is, but I don't have any direction as far as what we're willing to pay, if anything. If there's,
we just want to find out if they have a figure, and then we can, they give us, we'll do it for this amount of money or whatever.
Okay.
But if you can make the introductions, who we need, I don't know who to talk to, do we need to do?
sure, yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Okay.
I'll get up with you before the 28th, Mayor. We'll try to get a time before then.
What we paying
All right.
for animal control out of our taxes now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, other business, none at this time. Commissioners' comment, Walter?
I don't know enough to say.
All right, Dan? Sonny? David?
Just looking at something. Has anyone ever heard of Team NCWDC?
What?
Team NCWDC, Animal Control Services in Swansburg,
No.
106 Stevens Court. Apparently there's a lot of, individuals that provide animal control. I don't know if that's an option, but
Could be.
I'll send it to you.
Might be worth trying to.
That's all I got.
Okay. Tim? All right, I don't have anything. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session? Pursuit of NCGS 143-318-11A6 for the permitted purpose of discussing personnel. I have a motion
Second.
and a second.
That's a
All in
whole-
favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
A whole lot of numbers and letters right there.